Hello and welcome to episode 78 of the Bearded Banter Podcast, the gaming podcast where there may or may not be some talk about Jeffrey Epstein, but we'll get to that.
There's been 78 of these things?
Yeah, right? It's crazy. Been doing this for like 6 years.
Okay. It's too long to be doing a podcast.
It's way too long. Speaking of too long, this episode might not be super long this time because we don't have much news to talk about, but we'll get to that. I'm your host, Shane the Bearded One. I'm your host, Shane the Bearded One. With me, returning once again, is my co-host, Matt Leach and Rex. How are you doing today, Matt?
I have a sore throat, so I may not be talking as much as normal. But I will attempt to put in my 2 cents, whether it be about gaming, whether it be about other random shit, whether it be even about Epstein.
Yeah, who knows?
Whether or not he was murdered, or whether or not he was
jury's still out on that.
Or I don't know if the jury is out, but you know,
they're still trying to figure that out.
That he committed suicide, but if you believe that he committed suicide, you're a mark.
Speaking of Jeffrey Epstein,
I have several bridges to sell you.
Speaking of Jeffrey Epstein, the man who cannot get enough of Jeffrey Epstein, returning once again to Bearded Banter, the sports boy, Adam. How are you doing today, Adam?
I have transitioned from sports into the chief Jeffrey Epstein detective.
Okay, that's your new name then. That's what we'll call you from now on.
No, I'm still sports. College football's on.
Okay, we'll call you the chief Jeffrey Epstein detective of sports.
And the Epstein of sports.
No. I think that's Joe Paterno. No, that's Jerry Sandusky, but those are references no one's gonna get besides me.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, I don't sport.
I
barely even ball.
Speaking of references that no one will get, Bearded Banter. I don't know what that transition was, but whatever.
Welcome to the fucking show, people.
Yeah, welcome to the show. We're back here again to talk about some fucking video games. And if you're unfamiliar with our format, we start with some general discussion, talk about what we've been playing, and then before we wrap that up, I will pose a general discussion question of the week to the group, and we'll briefly discuss that before we go right into the news. And like I said during the intro, we might actually have a short episode this week because surprisingly dead for news, even though we just had Tokyo Game Show, but like nothing happened at Tokyo Game Show this year. So, I mean,
plenty happened at Tokyo Game Show. You just have to like figure it out.
I mean, nothing really noteworthy or big.
No, there was like literally no announcement.
If you stare at Norman Reedus' junk in Death Stranding, he punches you in the face. That's a lot going on.
And that's the only time we will hear about Death Stranding this episode. Anyway,
so much more about Death Stranding.
Let's just get right into general discussion before we go off about Death Stranding. Let's start with Adam, since he hasn't been on the show for a while. Adam, what have you been playing lately? And I know you and I have been playing quite a few games, so our lists might overlap a bit, but what have you been playing?
I've finished... Well, I didn't finish it, but I finished Fire Emblem Three Houses. It was really good. It reminded me a lot more of Awakening than the other one. Fucking... What was it?
Fates?
Can't remember.
That's a good thing because Awakening is better than Fates. So
Fates, I think Three Houses is better than Awakening. I went with the Black Eagles, which are the good house, the only house that matters. You golden beard jokers, you can go. You can get fucked and join a serious house for serious people. Stop being clowns. But yeah, it was good. It was long, which I didn't expect. Well, I did expect it because I put a bunch of time into that. It's a JRPG, of course it was long. But there was a bit of a thought that kept creeping back into my brain, which was, I kind of wish I was playing Persona 5 again. I don't know why I was thinking that, but...
Boys, we got him. He is a Persona 5 fanboy now.
I'm going to buy when P5 Royal comes out. I'm going to buy it because I'm a sucker now.
And then you're going to spend 200 more hours on that.
I mean, to be fair, Persona 5 Royal will be the definitive version of the game. So
exactly.
Well, Persona 4 Royal doesn't exist, Matt.
It won't exist until like a month in Japan, and then like it will be out like over here in April-ish, probably.
Persona 5 Royal, because I think Persona 4 is Golden.
Yeah, Persona 4 Golden, and then Persona 5 Royal.
So, yeah, I played Fire Emblem. It was good. Had a fun time with it. Fan art's always good, which is good. After that, I played Gears 5, which is form for the series. I'm of the stupid idiot opinion that Halo and Gears should be completely like separate sides of the same coin. Like Halo should be a big sprawling like soap opera epic that's bright with like colors and stuff, and Gears should be like some ideas, but like really down to earth, focusing on like really 3-4 characters, guts everywhere. And Gears 5 definitely fulfills that part of it. I'm not sure if Halo Infinite's going to fulfill its part of it, but that's kind of what I've been playing. Gears 5. I played River City Girls. It was fun. I'm not really a beat 'em up guy, as in I've never played them before, but I figured I'd try it out.
I mean, in terms of just, modern beat 'em ups, I think River City Girls is one of the better ones. So
It's definitely, well, I wouldn't know because it's the only one I've played on it.
Yeah.
From what I've played, it's good. You can stone cold stun a cop in this game, which is always a positive.
Yeah.
what I like to do in this game is I like to beat up cops with other cops.
That is very good. What was it? The art's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Well, not the art, but like the actual like in-game, like good.
I believe we call those graphics, Adam.
I don't listen, man. I don't even know what's happening. It's 11:10. I guess my brain's preoccupied.
Was
with
11
the
a.m. too early for you?
I've been up since 8. It's not a big deal. Like I showered, I had lunch and everything. I'm just like trying to describe my thoughts without sounding too horny because.
Oh,
I mean, you can just come out and say it. Like, which one's best girl, Adam? And why is it Kyoko?
One of the shopkeepers is the best girl.
Oh, is it the chick with the orange shirt and the fishnet stockings, or is it the one with like the fucking abs?
Oh, with the abs and the white hair, that's like crazy hot. I was like,
oh wait,
man,
you know what?
really
Fair.
hot.
Yeah, you know what? I respect that.
It's fair.
And then I've been playing Borderlands 3, which is
yes,
with more annoying villains.
It's Borderlands, all right.
It's Borderlands. Like, it's a Borderlands game. It's fun. Point where it's like, oh, died. I'm sad now, but I'm gonna go back and play. But I think I'm on Eden 6, which is I think one of the later stages of the game. About 2/3 of the way done with it.
Damn, I wouldn't know because I only just got to Promethea, so.
You just got from Promethea. You gotta go.
Yeah, I'm still early on, so.
Eli, who's like the best girl. You can classify Borderlands characters into best girl because Borderlands is basically like an anime video game.
Yeah, I mean it's got.
Stupid enough to be an anime video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you playing as? Because you're playing Borderlands 3 too. Wait, actually, before we discuss what you've been playing and what you've playing, I've been talking for way too long.
I mean, you haven't, but that's okay.
I think I've been rambling. I was like, man.
If you bold of you to assume that this show isn't just rambling all the time.
It is, but like. I mean, and for the 5 viewers who are going to listen to all this, I don't want to like torment them too much.
Excuse me, we've actually been getting 30 viewers lately. So.
Oh wow! I didn't notice.
There was an upgrade. There was there seemed to be a jump in viewership.
It was when we talked about Gamescom, and then everyone kind of just
Shane's activated the botnet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Anyway, is that all you wanted to talk about, Adam, or do you want to keep going?
I have a bit of a Death Stranding take that everyone's going to hate me for, but I think it's better to save that for later.
This is we aren't talking about Death Stranding in the news, so this is the best time to get it out. So go ahead.
Okay, so like the the TGS clips and all that stuff, it seems very like designed to be very obtuse. And what I think about it, it's not gonna be like Metal Gear was, because like everyone knew what like Metal Gear was. It was just insane and ridiculous, but it played good. This seems way more obtuse and almost, I don't want to say Dark Soulsian because I'm going to sound like a hack, but very Japanese, as in it's not designed to help you along. It's go out of your way to figure stuff out, and I think that's going to rub a large section of its potential audience, especially like the people who came over from Metal Gear 5 or something like that, the wrong way. So I think it's not going to be like game for people like really like it, or they really hate it because they're just like, there's nothing to fucking do. And then all the people who like it be like, you just have to like figure stuff out, and there's going to be everything to do. So it's not going to be
you get a good 50 hours in.
Yeah, it gets good about halfway through the game.
Gets good when you can drink the Monster Energy,
which is what Kojima said.
You can have that Monster Zero energy, and you're just sipping it like lean. That's when it gets good.
Yeah, and you can try and peek at Norman Reedus' crotch, and then he'll like beat the shit out of you.
Kick your ass.
Yeah.
Being beat up by Norman Reedus is one of my dreams. So
I mean, understandable. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's every young boy's dream. But anyway, Matt, what have you been playing lately?
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Give a round of applause to Matt, everyone. All right. Well, I think Matt died.
Rest in peace. He got by the Epstein people. The same people who killed Jeffrey Epstein, the same people who killed Kevin Spacey's accuser, got Matt.
Oh yeah. I thought for sure that just Discord died, and then when you piped up, I was like, okay, it's just Matt.
Yeah, maybe no, Discord exploded for me, so
that's cool.
Not just Discord, the entirety of my internet just doesn't work anymore.
It happens every time at this point.
Yeah, and it's actually getting fucking annoying, but okay.
Anyway, Matt, what have you been playing? Tell us.
Not gonna lie, I haven't actually been playing that much. To be completely honest with you, I've been really busy the past couple of months, the past like month or so. Because I like grinding. I just been I've been working, doing other things, and then school came in. So I've been mostly staying away from games, staying away from games, to be completely honest. So my actual answer is I haven't actually been playing anything, to be completely honest. So
respectable answer.
Oh yeah, you gotta grind into real life so you can grind into games.
Yeah, I don't know what to. I don't know what else to add. The only thing I can add is that about Death Stranding is that Death Stranding is probably a lot trippier than the letting on, and there's going to be a large chunk of people who are not going to understand it at all.
Yeah.
So, I completely expect this to be a Metal Gear Solid 2 situation again, and I cannot wait. And I cannot wait for the fights that are going to happen over this game.
I can't wait for all of the entitled fanboys to start fighting each other.
Ooh, are you ready for more discourse?
Oh, and then Matt just left entirely.
Yeah, Matt just left.
He will be back momentarily, I assume.
Two-man show, so...
Yeah, so it's just me and Adam now. For the rest of the show.
So, tight. So, yeah, you've been playing... What have you been playing?
Okay, I've actually been playing quite a lot. I've been trying out a bunch of different games.
You usually do, so...
Yeah. I'm going to briefly go over the stuff that you already talked about, because like I said, our lists overlap quite a bit. Played Gears 5, but I played it during the early launch, so...
Yeah, it wasn't buggy at all for me. I had one problem where a checkpoint failed to load. I decided to restart the game, and I was fine the whole way through.
Well, I play. Oh, welcome back, Matt.
Matt's back. This is
Hello
fantastic
again.
time for
Oh no,
everything to
he's
explode.
still on his phone.
Yeah, my internet. I'll be on my phone until my computer decides to, work. So,
Are you echoing? No, you're not. Surprisingly,
odd.
I think we're echoing.
it's not. It's only when he's not talking.
Maybe.
So shut your mouth, Matt, so you don't echo.
Because I didn't have a sore throat, I'm not gonna be talking.
That's fine. Rest your throat. Anyway, I've been playing Gears 5. Like I said, I played it during the early launch, so it was pretty, But I digress. It's a Gears game. Like, it plays like a Gears game, feels like a Gears game. But of course, being the most recent entry, it feels a lot smoother than the previous games. Like, especially with the upgrade to 60 frames, it feels a lot more responsive and good to play. That's all I really have. That's all I really have to say about that. It's just Gears.
Putting someone into just like mist with a sniper rifle still feels good. So
Yeah. When you miss your active reload and then your gun locks for like 10 seconds, that feels really good.
and you just swearing because you've done it 1,000 times, but you somehow mess it up this time.
Yeah. Played Borderlands 3 again. It's more Borderlands, I guess.
Who are you? Who'd you pick?
I picked Amara the Siren. I usually start with
Me
the Siren.
too. Yeah, Siren buddies. Let's go.
Yeah, the Siren is the best class in Borderlands, dude. They always have the coolest powers.
Well, yeah, exactly. I thought about going with Mose the Gunner, but
did you want to be a
I was
tiny?
like, nah,
Did you want to be a tiny anime girl with a mech?
not really. I wanted to have fists that punch people.
Yeah. Siren in this, well, Sirens are usually different in every game, but compared to 2, where you had that, like, black hole that just
the phase
kept
lock.
people in place, this time you have, like, well, this is different for Borderlands in general, because Borderlands 3 has different character skills that you can switch between. I usually pick the big fuck you ground pound, because it deals too much damage, but...
But yeah, I don't have the ground pound, but I'm working right now. I have, like, the one that just of fists to punch people.
Yeah.
I may go back to the ground pound because the ground pound was always good.
Yeah. But all I can say about this is that it's another Borderlands game.
If you like Borderlands, it's Borderlands.
Yeah, if you like Borderlands, you will like this game.
Don't, then you probably will. Claptrap is even more annoying somehow.
Oh, Claptrap is especially annoying in this game. And I don't know if it's because my tastes have changed in the past 7 years, or the fact that they got a new person to voice him, and you can definitely tell. But
I think it's a bit of both, honestly.
yeah, probably. But yeah, this is basically the same game I've been playing for 7 years with a couple quality of life improvements here and there. I didn't expect them to really reinvent the wheel or anything. I expected it to be
You don't really have to reinvent the wheel with Borderlands. Yeah. It's a formula that's been working for a while. They made a Telltale game.
Yeah.
So
I expected it to be like a Crackdown situation where it's basically the same game with a few new things here and there, and that's basically what it is. So if you like,
way better than Crackdown.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But if you like Borderlands, you'll like Borderlands 3. And River City Girls. Seeing as how I'm the beat 'em up guy and Adam isn't, I have a bit more to talk about with this one. I really like beat 'em ups, and I was really looking forward to this, especially since it's a spiritual successor to River City Ransom. It's in the same universe, same characters, all that bullshit. I really like this game, especially compared to the games that it is a homage to. It definitely controls a lot better. That was the first thing I noticed, is that it feels more responsive and tight to control than a lot of other beat 'em ups. And it's just really fun. There's a lot of really cool, unique character skills you can get. Some wacky bullshit like a rainbow dab, or a fucking stone cold stunner, or several different wrestling moves. And it's just really fun to go through the streets of River City and just beat the shit out of anything that moves.
You and Kyoko, I picked the other one.
Yeah, I'm a Kyoko guy. you picked Misako, which they do have different skills.
Misako, I think, is more punch focused. I think Kyoko's more range focused. I'm not sure. I think they kind of play the exact same. I think they would.
Pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure it's just different aesthetics.
Went through all that work. Yeah.
But they do have different skills, so that might be a thing.
You have the rainbow dab.
Yeah, rainbow dab is like the best move in the game because it's invincible on everything and it knocks enemies back. So
that's your left, right, Y move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a big ass haymaker. So
nice. But yeah, River City Girls.
People back a lot was good.
Yeah, River City Girls, great game. Easily the best indie game I played so far this year, and probably will be by the end of the year.
How about this? I gotta go back and finish it, but it's definitely not an easy game.
No, definitely not.
No, it's very much like a homage to back when you had arcades, and it was like, hey, put more quarters in, bitch. Give us your fucking money.
Especially some of the later bosses. Some of the later bosses can get crazy. Because I just fought the fourth boss, a Bobo, and
he sucked so much. I haven't gotten past him yet.
No.
Who's the third one?
Hibari, the spider lady.
Hibari, oh my god, she's the worst, dude. She takes 50 minutes.
I honestly thought she was the best boss in the game so far.
It wasn't that hard, but it just takes forever. And I got one hit when I was like 7 minutes into my first try, and I wanted to die.
There was only the only thing I can really complain about the Hibari fight is that she spawns enemies in the room while she's attacking, which can get annoying. Fortunately, though, they're like piss easy, and they go down in like 3 hits.
Easy, and they drop apples and health stuff too, so it's totally fine.
It's just they counter all your moves and they block a bunch, and like when you're trying to avoid projectiles and bullet hell shit, they're just get in the fucking way.
Not trying to avoid projectiles, trying to make sure you're in the right spot so you can dodge the projectile, so the projectile will bounce off the walls and hit the lady in the face.
Yeah, which the strategy is just sit in the corner, because if it's in the corner, it bounces right back immediately. So
if you're in the middle, just don't even bother.
Yeah. But River City Girls, great game. Some other stuff I've been playing. Jump Force. It's bad. Anyway, moving on.
This game fucking sucks. I have nothing else to say about it.
That's literally all I have to say about it, is that it sucks. I don't think I've played a bad game in 2019 until I played Jump Force, and it is the worst by a wide margin. And that's all I really have to say about it, is that it just sucks and don't play it. Moving.
It looks like it plays like dog shit. It looks like dog shit. It runs like dog shit.
Oh yeah. And
and if you want to play an anime fighter, just stick to the Ultimate Ninja Storm. To be honest, just do that.
Play Ultimate Ninja Storm. Play Xenoverse. Hell, play the Kill la Kill game. Like
play fucking even play the My Hero game.
Yeah, play One's Justice. That's fucking infinitely better than this garbage.
Play the goddamn Attack on Titan game. I haven't played that game.
Like, okay, Jump Force. It's slow. It's clunky. It's unrefined. It looks like ass. And it is the most generic anime arena fire I think I've ever seen. All running at a buttery smooth 15 frames per second.
Lean.
I mean, at least it's consistent with this frame rate.
Yeah, I mean, that's something, I guess. But moving on, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's move on. Speaking of beat 'em ups, I was in the beat 'em up mood before I picked up River City Girls, so I played another beat 'em up that unfortunately you can't play anymore. The Scott Pilgrim game.
We talked about the Scott Pilgrim game. I was like, it's
Scott Pilgrim game's so fucking good, and that's why I'm so sad, because you can't buy it anymore because they delisted it.
Scottavius Pilgrimius.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now.
I feel like Scott Pilgrim was one of the first catalysts for the modern beat 'em ups, because I think it was at like the turn of the decade, 2009, where those games started to get popular again in the indie scene. And I think that was the first one that really got people back on the beat 'em up bandwagon. It doesn't help that it's like a really good game in its own right. And it looks incredible, and it has a soundtrack by Anamanaguchi that fucking slaps the hardest.
It definitely came around, like, because people, like, the movie wasn't huge, but people who watched it love it.
Yeah.
And I think the same audience was drawn to this. Unfortunately, Scott Pilgrim in the game does not look like Michael Cera, which is unfortunate.
I mean,
so
he looks like he does in the comics,
I can get an Arrested Development beat 'em up, I'd be very happy.
Same.
Let's do it. Let's start a Kickstarter.
Get it going.
But yeah, the Scott Pilgrim game, it's really fun. It's just fun to run around the streets of Canada and beat the shit out of all of Ramona Flower's evil exes, which the boss fights in this game are easily the best part of the game. Like, each ex is unique in their move style, and they all have different strategies to take them down, and it just keeps you on your toes, and it's got the right amount of challenge. Until later on, where there's kind of like a huge difficulty spike that kind of irks me, but I digress. It's still a really good game. Really quickly, I played Mario World because Super Nintendo Online just came out a couple weeks ago, and played through the entirety of Mario World, and actually beat it for the very first time ever.
You've never beaten it?
Nope. I've been playing Mario World since I was a kid, but I've never fully completed it until like last week.
You 100%ed it, right?
Yeah, Star Road everything. So
damn.
I don't have much to say about it because it's a Mario game, but it's definitely one of the weirder ones, especially in terms of like enemy design. This game is pretty out there.
But it's also fantastic.
Yes, it is. And if you have Switch Online, you can play it on your Switch, which is great. I only have like 2 more games to talk about. Real quick, I played Creature in the Well, which is a new ID at Xbox game they put on Game Pass. And this one had my attention since they showed it off at E3 because they described it as a hack and slash pinball game. And
hack and slash pinball.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how that would work, and I can't possibly.
Well, let me explain it to you, good sir. Creature in the Well is a Zelda-style dungeon. It's not a dungeon crawler, but it revolves itself around dungeons.
Dungeon baller.
Yeah, it's then a post-apocalyptic world where this like shadow entity basically destroyed the whole world and is holding it hostage and all that blah blah blah. And you, as an engineer, need to go down into the tombs of the ancients to basically restart civilization, start up electricity, technology, all that stuff. But the security systems in the dungeons are based on pinball and Pong. So you go down into the dungeons, which are very Zelda-esque in their designs. You go room to room, and each room has a puzzle revolving around its pinball mechanics. And the reason it's called a hack and slash game is because you literally hack and slash the pinballs to solve the puzzles. So it's really weird and esoteric in its design, but it's super fun. You basically, every time you walk into a room, you have the entire layout. Just like a good Zelda game, you have the entire layout of the room as soon as you walk in. You're like, okay, these certain things are placed in these specific spots. What do I have to do to get around this? And it's a lot more puzzle-oriented than it is combat-oriented because there's not really any enemies you fight. It's literally just you hack and slash the pinballs to solve the puzzles. And it's like the weirdest game I played in a long time, but it somehow works because the actual designs of the puzzles really make you... It's one of those puzzle games where you have to think about it. It's not like, oh, you just move this over here and you put it here and then that's the puzzle. No, you actually have to think about, okay, where do I have to hit the balls so that they can ricochet off the walls to get to these specific spots where I need to get them. And it's you're always on your toes thinking about your next move, and it's really fun. So if you have Game Pass and that sounds interesting to you, you can play it right now. And I highly recommend it because outside of River City Girls, it's easily one of the best indie games I played this year. And then the last thing I have to talk about is Astral Chain, which it's Astral Chain. Like, what else do I say? Astral Chain is the next big game from Platinum, exclusive for the Switch. They've been hyping it up for a while, and this is easily their most ambitious game to date, because it's the word that I keep coming back to when I think of Astral Chain is unconventional, because compared to all of their other games, it is completely different. The combat is obviously very similar to other Platinum games, but it's not really focused on the combat itself, rather than the new Legion mechanics, where you basically have a stand that you control in the midst of battle. And the reason I say it's not really focused on combat is because the game is a lot more concerned about strategy. It's a lot more strategic, it's a lot more focused on the strategic elements of combat rather than, you hack and slash through dudes and you hit them with your big sword. Because the Legions bring an entirely different element to what is considered standard Platinum style combat, because you have to...
Yeah.
It's a lot like resource management in a weird way, because you always have to be aware of where your Legion is, how you're controlling them in relation to the camera, because it's all on the same stick, which can get a little frustrating at times, but I digress. But your Legion could do a ton of stuff during combat. They can chain enemies down, they can automatically attack enemies, they can extend your combos, they can switch between different modes, so they can have different attributes, like a sword fighter, or a long-range weapon, or a feral beast. And they just add so much depth to what is essentially a bare-bones combat system in this game, that they basically make up for its shortcomings. Because obviously, it's a lot more focused on the Legions themselves rather than just the individual. And also, the game is like, I won't say open world, but it's pseudo-open world, because it's along with the more strategic elements of combat, it's a lot more focused on exploration at the same time, because it puts you in an area most of the time that has a bunch of branching paths that you can explore around. They're like, okay, we need these specific clues to progress this case. Go find them. And then it just lets you loose. You go around, you talk to people, you collect evidence and clues to progress the case and thus the story. And that's why I say it's unconventional in comparison to other Platinum games, because it's doing a lot more than they usually do, and it's doing things that are kind of outside the box when it comes to normal Platinum game design. Because most Platinum games are just, it's this big, crazy, over-the-top hack and slash, you just run around, beat up enemies, that's basically it. But in this game, you're basically playing detective, and it's actually, honestly, I think the exploration is the best part of the game so far. Because when I got to the first really open chapter, I think it's case 4, when you just explore around the city, you're like, we need to find clues as to the whereabouts of your father. So we need to question people. Oh, has anything weird happened around here? Oh, I saw something over there. It leads you over to a different part, and then you have to fight some fucking chimeras, and then you go back. Oh, hi kids, have you seen anything? We might have, but you need to do our super ultimate brother quiz puzzle first before we say anything. And then you have to do their quiz, and like, oh, which one's the oldest? Oh, which one is lying? Oh, it's really interesting. And it always keeps you guessing what's coming next. And honestly, I think that's the best element of the game, is that I honestly don't know what it's going to do at this point. Because it could honestly do anything, and it would surprise me. Which I think that's the best element of this game, is its surprise factor. It definitely was not what I was expecting. And I think that follows suit for a lot of other people. And I think that's great, because it shows that Platinum is willing to take risks and do new things, and that's honestly just going to help them build their brand even more so than they already have. And with Nintendo backing them, I think they have infinite possibilities for their future games, especially after what they've done with Astral Chain. So I don't know where it ranks on the list of Platinum games as a whole, but it's definitely their most ambitious, definitely their most interesting, and definitely their most fleshed out. So I really liked it, and I assume a lot of other people will too.
I'm getting it that it's sort of like Nier Automata mixed with JoJo.
Basically, basically, like, it's definitely a lot more. it's definitely a lot more attributed to Nier's design than their other games like Bayonetta or Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah.
But even then, with Nier, even though it was a new thing for Platinum, that wasn't even fully their game. That was just Yoko Taro telling them what to do. So
Yeah. So.
I think this is their first real independent branching out from the formula. And I really like the direction they're going with it. And I'm interested to see what the late game stuff has to offer, because the early game stuff is very promising. And with that said, that's all I have to talk about in terms of what I've been playing, so we can move right into our discussion question of the week, which, if you're not familiar with this, I brought this back from the older Banter timeline. I will pose a question related to gaming to the group, and we will briefly discuss it before we get into the news. And since I had a couple of beat-em-up games to talk about, I figured, why not just ask a question about beat-em-ups, which it's unfortunate that Adam's here.
I've played one beat 'em up.
Literally one that just came out. So I guess you only have one answer for this question, Adam, because the question is, what is your favorite beat 'em up? So just say River City Girls, Adam. It's fine.
Does Call of Duty count as a beat 'em up?
I mean, my favorite beat 'em up is going behind the Arby's and beating the shit out of Shane. So there's that.
Yeah.
But no,
I think Real Life is a good beat 'em up. No, I don't fucking know, man. River City Girls, I guess.
Yeah.
You could have picked a better question for this, dude.
Well, I mean,
you should have provided the question.
Like, okay, listen.
It was gonna be me and Matt and you, and you're the only one who's played any beat 'em up.
Listen.
He's like, what's the best beat 'em up of all time? I'm the only person that can answer, so my answer is the only definitive one.
Listen, bitch, Matt has played a bunch of beat 'em ups too, and I didn't know it was just gonna be the three of us until yesterday, and I've had this question written down for like 2 weeks. So fuck you.
Written down another question.
Listen, bitch, that's not how it works.
It works. You write down a pencil and you write down another question.
All right, I got a separate question just for you then, Adam.
Let's get it.
Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein is actually dead or not?
100% dead.
Okay.
How he died, he got murdered by the Clinton cabal. And I am saying this not as an insane Donald Trump supporter, but as a completely rational, broken internet socialist. Hillary Clinton hired Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell to sneak into that prison cell and murder Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, and then speaking of Sam Fisher, I was gonna tie this into Splinter Cell somehow, but fucking Kevin Spacey's one of his accusers got
Fucking
murdered in
marked.
plain sight. Yeah, if you think he just died randomly, you're I have a
No,
big
he got
suspicion.
murked, dude.
Absolutely. Did you see that fucking, like, remember when got accused of sexual assault or whatever it was, right? When he was about to get canceled for the first time, and he made that insane video where he was like Frank Underwood in character discussing it.
Dude, that was like the funniest shit I'd ever
He
seen
had
in my life.
a mug, and from what I've seen, the mug was an anniversary mug for Queen Elizabeth's, like, was her coronation. I think it was her actual coronation, but it was like, the mug read something like, I forever strive to prove myself worthy of your loyalty, or something like that. The idea around that is, like, Kevin Spacey was signaling to the rest of the people who he runs with, aka the pedophiles, you gotta, like, cover for me here, or else a lot of people are gonna, like, wind up in the shit. So, yeah, Kevin Spacey.
So Kevin Spacey's your favorite beat 'em up. Okay, good to know.
Kevin Spacey is my favorite. I cannot wait to beat up Kevin Spacey.
All right, good to know. Matt?
That's just fucking Advanced Warfare. Don't you beat up Kevin Spacey in that game? Back
What?
to Call of Duty, baby. Let's get it.
All right, I just want to make sure. Are you done, Adam?
Do you want me to continue?
No.
Okay, I will contain myself until I am asked again about Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay. Thank you. Matt, what is your favorite beat 'em up?
I went back and forth about this one for a couple of games. But in the end, it could only come down to one game, because I personally believe that this is the most fun I've ever had with a beat 'em up, and that is TMNT 4 Turtles in Time for the SNES.
Yeah, that's the correct answer.
Is easily the best beat 'em up I've ever played. Not only do you get to play as all 4 of the turtles, which is amazing in itself, but it runs like butter.
Mm-hmm.
The environments, the enemies are all fantastic and varied. The amount of different combinations and combos you can come up with is actually insane.
Mm-hmm.
And each turtle is so distinct and so just different, and that no single playthrough of that's going to be the same.
No.
Like, not a single playthrough that's going to be the same, because every turtle plays so differently, and has a wide variety of different things you can do. It's just a fantastic game, and it's the game I always go to talking about, like, just beat 'em ups. Like, this is the definitive SNES beat 'em up, and there's nothing else better than it on the console.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Turtles in Time was what really got me into beat 'em ups, and I know this is kind of unrelated, but the remake, Reshelled, is actually pretty decent too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's also delisted, so you can't fucking play it anymore unless you have it on, like, your 10-year-old 360 hard drive, which I do. But,
They need to stop delisting game.
Yeah, ironically, both Ubisoft. But yeah, Turtles in Time is a great game. If you're a fan of beat 'em ups, you should play it. If you're a fan of Turtles, you should play it, because it is the quintessential example that several people, including us, go to when we talk about what makes a good beat 'em up. Basically, just look at Turtles in Time and you will know the answer. It's got great gameplay. It's got a bunch of different combos and moves you can perform. It's got great enemy and environmental variety. The bosses are all great. Each turtle is distinct in their moves and their playstyle. Like Matt said, no playthrough will ever be the same as the last, and it just holds it. That just brings it back to its replayability, because it's got replayability up the ass, and you will always want to play this game for several different reasons, mainly just because it's a very good game. But yeah, Turtles in Time, easily my favorite. Quintessential example of what a beat 'em up could and should be. And with that said, that wraps up our general discussion, so we can get right into the news.
Up to GameStar.
It's just the thing we do now.
I think Keemstar slander. We gotta watch our Keemstar slander, because those insane fans are gonna come after us.
Yeah.
I let them come after him. I
We
don't
got murdered by a kid yelling PewDiePie things. Like, oh look, how fitting.
So we don't have much news to talk about this week.
Yeah, we got nothing. You missed one. You sent me a whole list of stuff. The Modern Warfare beta. I think we missed that one, so we may talk about that too.
We already knew about that, so I didn't put it in here. It's happening. The beta's happening. That's all there is to talk about.
There we go. We went over the Modern Warfare news.
Yeah,
there's a beta,
which we talked about like a month ago. Anyway,
it's not that episode.
Yeah, but we don't have much news to talk about. Adam, just let me do my show, please.
Hey, you can do the show.
We don't have much news to talk about this week, which is surprising because we just had Tokyo Game Show. But Tokyo Game Show was actually pretty light this year, all things considered. So we have about 12 stories, which compared to previous weeks is a godsend. This episode will definitely not be 3 hours long, thank God.
Unless we talk more about Jeffrey Epstein.
But let's get right into it, starting with some release date stories before we get into some bigger stuff. Starting with everyone's favorite, Final Fantasy. We've known for a while that Crystal Chronicles, a fan favorite, has been getting remastered, and we finally have a release date for that. So let's read. Square Enix has announced that Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition will be available on PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android on January 23rd, 2020. The upcoming remaster features new character voices, online multiplayer for up to 4 players, support for cross-platform play, new dungeons and bosses, additional character skins, new items, and more. In addition to confirming the release date, Square Enix shared a new trailer for the game that offers a look at the updated graphics, combat, enemies, and more. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles originally released for the GameCube in 2004 and follows a group of adventurers who set off on a journey to locate and collect drops of Mir. These drops power the crystals that keep the deadly miasma threatening the world under control. So yeah, I just threw this in here because everyone loves Final Fantasy, and Crystal Chronicles is actually a very big fan favorite. We knew that it was getting remastered for a while, but we never got a release date until now. It's coming out in January. What do you boys think about this? Specifically Matt, because I know Matt is a lot more into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I love Crystal Chronicles. It's great. It's one of the best. If you're talking Final Fantasy spin-offs, not the main series games, I think Crystal Chronicles is probably one of the best. It's up there with Tactics as one of the strongest in terms of story, in terms of gameplay, and in terms of its visual design. The way it's developed, you don't need to be like a Final Fantasy fan to like Crystal Chronicles because it's so widely different than the rest of the series. The only thing that makes it Final Fantasy is that it's got crystals and it's got the same jobs and monsters as Final Fantasy usually has. Outside of that, it's completely different. It would arguably be a completely new franchise if it wasn't for the fact that it has the name Final Fantasy slapped on it. Mm-hmm. So if any of you haven't played Crystal Chronicles, go do that. It's really good. It's fucking got a great story to it. It looks amazing. And it's a very, very fun time, even if you're not like a hardcore Final Fantasy fan.
Adam, do you have any thoughts on this?
You can insert cricket noises. I think that's the best thing to do.
Yeah, Adam is not a big Final Fantasy.
The AOL startup noise. That's my opinion of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered. It's a big old neat. I'm never gonna play it.
Cool. I don't have much to talk about with this because I've never played Crystal Chronicles. But one thing I do want to mention, which stood out to me in this article when they're talking about release platforms, everything is here except PC and Xbox One, which is really weird to me because all the Final Fantasy remasters up till this point have released on those two platforms, yet this one isn't. So I wonder what's going on with that. What's the difference between this and the other ones? I can't really answer that because I don't know, but it's just something that stood out to me. But yeah, Crystal Chronicles Remastered is coming out in January. If you're a fan of the original game or looking to get into it for the first time, hang tight because it'll be out in just a few months. Yeah. Moving on, we got some stupid anime bullshit from TGS to talk about. Specifically,
love to see it, don't we?
Specifically, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
This isn't the Gap.
Shut up. But this game was announced a while ago, and it's shaping up to be pretty good. It looks pretty good. But we just got a reveal for a release date, so let's read. Bandai Namco has announced that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot will be available in the West on January 17th, 2020. The release date reveal was accompanied by a new trailer that confirms the Buu arc will be included in the upcoming role-playing game. Kakarot is a retelling of Goku's story that covers major story arcs and battles from Dragon Ball Z, including some never-before-seen story moments. Players will fight, fish, eat, and train as Goku and others as they build relationships with various Dragon Ball characters and explore the world. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot launches on January 17, 2020 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. So this is yet another one where Adam is crickets because he has nothing to say about Dragon Ball. Unless you have something to say about Dragon Ball, I don't know.
Not really. Didn't they do one of these already?
No.
I mean, like, not like this, but I think they made like a Dragon Ball RPG already. It's gonna sell buckets, so what's the point? Like, why not make a new one?
I mean, Matt, do you consider Xenoverse to be an RPG? Because I don't.
No.
Yeah, that's the answer.
I don't consider it to be a fighting game either. I consider it to be something completely different.
Yeah,
it's an action-adventure game.
Yeah, it's not an RPG. It's not a straight fighting game. It's not even an arena fighter because it's all different from a lot of other arena fighters. So it's its weird own subgenre. But this is
it's like an action adventure game. Yeah.
Yeah, the Xenoverse is the closest thing we've gotten to this type of game. But this game is shaping up to be pretty damn good, and it looks really nice from all the gameplay I've seen. And plus, don't let the article fool you. You can play as other characters, but Goku.
Yeah, it looks great. Good Dragon Ball games are very, very fun, and I enjoy playing good Dragon Ball games.
And it's nice to see that this is coming out right around the same time as the Japanese release. I think the Japanese release is like the day before. So
yeah,
it's pretty much a worldwide release, which is nice to see. And it's being fully localized and dubbed, so that's also good.
Yeah, and it include what's it cover? Is it covering the entirety of Dragon Ball Z?
Like the entirety of Z. It goes up to the Buu Saga, so that's a yes.
All right, makes sense.
It might cover past that into Super. I'm not entirely sure about that though.
If it's Z, it's not going to. I don't think they'll have to be like it's Dragon Ball Super. They have to mention
technically. Battle of Gods and Resurrection F were Z before they were rebranded, so they could cover those.
But I don't know if they're gonna do that. I honestly, I'm still disappointed. We never get anything OG Dragon Ball anymore, and that kind of saddens me.
What if the twist is that like the entire prologue is set in OG Dragon Ball?
I would lose my shit. That would be awesome. But we need more. We need. I feel like OG Dragon Ball actually suits itself for like an adventure game more than Z does, to be completely honest with you. Like that would be great. Unfortunately, they never do that because it won't sell in America because Americans are stupid.
Yeah, because the Westerners don't care about it unless you slap that Z on there.
For some godforsaken reason.
Because it's all the same shit, but I digress. But anyway, Kakarot comes out in
Dragon Ball Freezy, and then they're good to go.
Yeah, just give them their bootleg Goku popsicle that looks nothing like Goku. As long as you slap a Z on there, they'll buy it. They'll buy like 10.
Yeah.
But Kakarot comes out in January, and if you're excited for that, look forward to that because again, it comes out in just a few months. Speaking of Dragon Ball, the other thing we have to talk about related to Dragon Ball is the TGS panel that they had that covered Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, who's releasing for Dragon Ball FighterZ very soon. So let's read. We've known that Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta would be coming to Dragon Ball FighterZ as DLC pretty much all of 2019 at this point, but now we finally have a release date for the Fused Fighter. Bandai Namco held a live stream event for Dragon Ball FighterZ at the Tokyo Game Show 2019 earlier this week, where they revealed a breakdown of Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Gogeta's gameplay, plus his actual release date of September 26, which is like next week. The gameplay came courtesy of Dragon Ball FighterZ World Tour champion Kazunoko, who was on stage alongside the game's producer Tomoko Hiroki and other representatives. Gogeta appears to have two different level 1 supers with his Big Bang Kamehameha for a more regular Ki Blast, and then the God Punisher, which begins by tossing out 2 energy orbs before going into a volley of Ki Blasts. This can be followed up by spending another bar to finish it off with the Stardust Breaker move first used against Janemba. For his Meteor Level 3 Super, Gogeta performs a giant explosive punch, followed by a launcher into a flashy energy explosion, but it can also go one step further. Burning 2 extra bars will turn this into a level 5 and give you the big finisher with the ultimate full force Kamehameha. Gameplay for Gogeta begins around the 3-hour 45-minute mark in the archive video, and you can also see screenshots here from the Japanese scans, which I'll bring up quickly on screen. It basically just tells you about his supers. But yeah, Gogeta apparently comes out next week, which I'm going to go on a tangent for a little bit. Pardon me. The way that they've been structuring the DLC seasons with fighters has been really weird, especially in the second season, which is the one we're in right now. Season 2 from the start was meant to be a much smaller season than the first one because we only getting 6 characters as opposed to 8. And we thought, at least initially, that they were going to be much more spread out in terms of releases. Because we got our first 2 characters in January, and we didn't get anything else until May, when Goku GT came out, and then followed that with another 3 months in August with Janemba. So the fact that Gogeta's already coming out and it's been less than 2 months between the last character, weird. I'm just gonna say weird. It makes me wonder when the hell Broly's coming out in regards to all of this. Whether he'll be like soon after Gogeta, like a month or two, or he'll be like early 2020. I have no idea. But yeah, I saw the gameplay of Gogeta, and oh boy. Basically, Matt.
Yes.
Remember when Bardock came out, and the entire discourse was that Bardock was broken?
Yeah, Gogeta's like the
We're
same.
getting another Bardock with Gogeta.
Well, I want the audience to know one thing right now. Shane's Discord name on our server is in all caps. Gogeta has 5 supers.
Gogeta has
what
5
any of that
supers. 5
But Shane
individual
does.
supers.
That's I don't know anything about this.
Okay.
I'm not the guy that asks on.
Let me explain this to you really quickly.
This is a big deal for Shane.
I will explain this to you really quickly. You know how in fighting games where you have super moves that do a lot of damage?
Yes. No, I don't. I'm incredibly stupid.
Well, Gogeta has 5 of those.
Okay, that's a lot.
Actually, potentially 6, because going back to these screenshots,
The hidden super.
no, going back to the screenshots, they say talk about his level 1, which is God Punisher, where he throws out the volley of ki blasts. They talk about the follow-up Stardust Breaker, which, if you know Dragon Ball, specifically Fusion Reborn, where Gogeta was introduced, it's like the weird rainbow orb that like turns into Stardust. But the screenshots in the scan are something completely different. It's like the move he did in the Broly movie, where he like flies up into the air and he just unleashes this giant array of ki blasts onto the ground. So he might even actually have 6 supers? I don't know, man. Gogeta is fucking with my head right now. But I digress. That's just me fanboying. I apologize. I saw the gameplay. He looks very good. Easily a top tier contender, and probably gonna be my new main. I'm sorry, Vegito, but I'm gonna have to retire you once Gogeta comes out.
Money has got like a crazy big learning curve, honestly. But you're good at this game, so it's not gonna be a big deal for you.
I know how to play the game, so like just give me an hour to lab him out, and I'll probably figure something out. But yeah,
I'm a huge normie idiot who's only halfway decent at shooting games, and even then, not very good.
that's fine.
The only game I qualify as good in is Halo. So
yeah. But yeah, Gogeta's coming out relatively soon if we can trust this fucking official stream from Bandai Namco. Which anyway, moving on. Speaking of Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball, you know what else Akira Toriyama does? Dragon Quest. You know what Dragon Quest news we got this week? Oh, nothing big, only that the first 3 Dragon Quest games are coming to the Switch. Sure, let's read.
Sure, alright, let's...
Dragon Quest 2, and Dragon Quest 3 will arrive on Nintendo Switch on September 27th, Square Enix has announced. Dragon Quest, which originally released in 1986, sees the hero, a descendant of Erdrick, embarking on a journey through the realm of Alfgard. While its sequel, Dragon Quest II Luminaries of the Legendary Line, follows the Prince of Middenhall as he attempts to locate the other 2 descendants of Erdrick. Finally, Dragon Quest III The Seeds of Salvation tells the story of a young hero who must defeat Baramos, the Master of Darkness. As you can see, this tweet from the official Dragon Quest account. Find out where it all began. The first 3 Dragon Quest games are coming to North America and for the first time on console in Europe on Nintendo Switch. You can start with any of the 3 games, so get ready for classic adventures on September 27th. Dragon Quest 2, and Dragon Quest 3 will cost $4.99, $6.49, and $12.49 respectively. All 3 titles will be available digitally from the Nintendo eShop. Dragon Quest XI-S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition will also launch for Nintendo Switch on the same day. So, this was a surprise. I don't think anyone was expecting them to be like, hey, Dragon Quest XI's coming out on the Switch next week. That's pretty cool. We've been hyping that up a lot. What if we just released the original trilogy to go along with it? I mean, I guess we like money. there's really nothing to talk about other than,
Yeah.
hey, this is a surprise, and I don't think anyone expected it. What do you think of this, Matt?
Play Dragon Quest.
That's
That's
good
literally
answer.
it, yeah.
Good answer.
That literally is.
Adam, do you have anything to add here?
There's more crickets happening.
Anything relating to fighting games, RPGs, or anime, Adam is just gone.
And Persona 5 Royal news, I'd be all over the place.
Unfortunately, we
Good
don't
thing
have
for
any
me-
P5R news this week.
Some good stuff coming up right now if we're going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but yeah, the original 3 Dragon Quest games are coming to Switch. Unfortunately, I heard that they are the mobile ports, which a lot of people aren't too fancy on, but if you don't care about that, who cares? Just buy them.
They're a little janky, but that's the only janky in like visual design. It's still Dragon Quest.
Yeah, it's still Dragon Quest, so who cares? Just suck it up.
Yeah.
But moving on, now we can get to Adam's participation segment, because we have a lot of stuff that he cares about.
I have awoken.
So, we've known for a while that Naughty Dog has been making The Last of Us Part 2. We haven't got many details on this game since last E3. However, that is soon to change.
And there was a trailer that was pretty good. And then now we're getting something, on the 24th, which today's the 20th.
Well, let's
I'm going to date this podcast immediately.
Let's read the article, then.
You read
This article from Engadget reads... Naughty Dog has been fairly quiet about The Last of Us Part 2 since E3 2018. We're about to hear a lot more, though, as the studio has sent invitations for a media event that will discuss the post-apocalyptic action game in greater detail. While details aren't forthcoming at this stage, it won't be surprising if you hear a lot more about gameplay, plot, and potentially a release schedule. It's not often there are high-profile media events devoted to individual games, but this won't be surprising for The Last of Us 2. It's one of the biggest PS4 games that has yet to ship, and may as well be the swan song for the console, given that the PS5 is unofficially expected late in 2020. An event could shed light on the game and foster hype, naturally, in a timely fashion without having to wait for someone else's event or sharing the spotlight with anyone else. And of course, this all came from a quote, a tweet from Jeff Keighley, of course, where he posted this poster, which basically says, hey, Last of Us 2 media event on the 24th in Los Angeles. Get hype, boys. And that's it. That's the article. So, Adam, please, go nuts.
It's been forever since we had Last of Us news, which is good because there was the 3-1 last year that was big enough for Sony to build an entirely separate stage outside of the conference hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember how that killed
that.
the pacing of their fucking E3 showcase?
It was really weird. But the stuff they showed was insanely good, and it got me really excited for the game. I think there was a trailer sometime in 2018 after that, which looked sort of like a prequel thing. And I wasn't sure if it's a prequel or it's just another Ellie's mom. I don't fucking know, dude. I haven't read the story synopsis of Last of Us 2. There isn't one yet. But the fact that we're getting any more news about this game, if it, because it's holds up to expectations, it's going to be one of the best games ever made. Because Last of Us 1 is so...
It's a fucking masterpiece, dude.
Yeah,
you hear some negative stuff over regarding its pacing and all that stuff, but it's positive. So if this holds up, if we're seeing what we saw in the trailer, which probably won't happen, but if we're seeing anything close to what we saw in that E3 demo, it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that we're getting any Last of Us news before the end of the year is fantastic because it portends that it was 2 sometime in February or March next year.
Yeah.
Or God
hey,
forbid,
remember, guys.
before the year ends.
Hey, remember, guys. Last of Us 2 is still coming out.
We all forgot about it with all the other shit. But
yeah.
If we get Last of Us 2 before the end of the year, I'm going to lose my mind.
We won't. But hey, who knows?
We won't. It's probably.
We have to hold out hope.
Honestly, I suspect
that says anything is possible, but
summer 2020 is where I think it's coming. So that's my official guess.
Yeah,
summer 2020.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be March, April next year.
So spring.
Yeah, spring 2020. I'm hedging my bets by saying March and April. So if it comes out March and April, I get more Vegas money.
I'm gonna say summer because then they're gonna have an excuse to show it at E3 one last time.
Yeah, probably.
Don't even go to E3 next year. Which they probably will because they got screwed over this year. So
yeah, but yeah, we're finally getting more Last of Us news. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally here on the 24th. Get ready for more Last of Us news. Potentially a release day. Who knows? But speaking of Sony, and I structured this on purpose because right after this came out, we got confirmation that Sony is bringing us another State of Play presentation next week, in fact, on the same day. So suspicious.
Almost like I'm pretty sure Jeff Keighley fucking spoiled it. Yeah. That's what happened.
But let's read. The next State of Play, Sony's version of Nintendo's Direct broadcast, will air next week, the company has announced. The episode will air on Tuesday, September 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and will last around 20 minutes. Sony teases that this latest episode is sporting a fresh new look and will feature new game reveals, new content from PlayStation's worldwide studios, and a host of other updates. Sony notes that viewers shouldn't expect any information regarding its next-generation console during this episode. State of Play can be watched live on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And I'm gonna start us off here because I have a couple predictions. I find it really ironic that we get news that, hey, we're getting more news about The Last of Us on the 24th, and what else is happening on the 24th? An actual Sony presentation. Coincidence? I think not. I think that during the State of Play, we're going to get a new trailer for The Last of Us that's going to give us the release date, and then the actual Last of Us presentation will probably happen shortly afterwards, where we'll get all the other information. Yeah. On top of that, I also think that it's about time we see more of Ghost of Tsushima, because we haven't seen anything on that game since that initial E3 demo.
The game just vanished, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to get more on Ghost of Tsushima during this.
Yeah, I do think the game's coming. I'm sure of it. It's just that it's just that we haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch has been very quiet in general. So
and also, my last prediction for this is, since just recently, last month during Gamescom, Sony scooped up Insomniac, and now they're a PlayStation Worldwide studio.
Spider-Man 2.
We are getting new content from PlayStation Worldwide Studios. I think it's very likely we're going to see what Insomniac is working on next.
Spider-Man 2.
Whether or not it be Spider-Man 2, new Ratchet & Clank, or something else entirely. I think it's pretty likely we're going to see something Insomniac related.
Spider-Man 2.
Okay, shut up, Matt!
Okay, sure. Okay,
and not any Spider-Man 2, just the original Spider-Man 2 video game from 2004.
Yeah, they're just remaking the Spider-Man 2 game.
Not even Spider-Man 1 and 372. Will you put $5 down on the bet that they're going to show Shin Megami Tensei 5?
Well, that's a Switch exclusive, so that's not happening here, Adam.
I'm retarded. Never mind.
It's a Switch exclusive, and it's coming out never.
It's coming out never because they haven't talked about it at all since the original Switch presentation, like 3 years ago. So
we'll figure it out eventually.
The game is dead.
It's dead in the water. It's never happening.
Isn't Atlas making that too? Like they're focusing on.
Sure, I guess maybe.
Yeah. They're making it, and I use that in air quotes.
Oh, big air quotes.
Atlas, I mean, two dudes who work in like their basement, like two unpaid interns.
Two dudes. Yeah. They have two dudes just chained up in their basement, say like feeding them like fucking every month.
Yeah, something like that.
Like once a month too. You can't feed them too much.
Fucking if they get at least like 1% of the game done, they get a piece of food for it.
Yeah, they get half a breadcrumb.
They get half a bread.
If they materialize a singular 3D model, they will get a food stamp for the month.
They get exactly 1 can of Monster Energy, Zero Energy,
and then they can try and peek on Norman Reedus and get the shit beat out of them.
Yeah, what they do is they have two people locked in their basement, but instead of playing Super Megami Tensei 5, they're trying to understand Death Stranding, and if they try to fucking understand,
they've got like the cork boards. No, the rewards are probably you get to a certain development point of SMP5, and you're allowed to play a certain part of Persona 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else is there? What's next?
But yeah, the State of Play is returning next week on the 24th. We're getting more PlayStation news next week, boys. It's unfortunate that we won't be having banter, but I digress. Let's move on. Speaking of Jeff Keighley, who gave us that information on the Last of Us briefing. We also have a set official date for the 2019 Game Awards, which is happening later than they usually are. So let's read. Jeff Keighley has confirmed that this year's Game Awards will take place on Thursday, December 12th. The event will be held in Los Angeles at the Microsoft Theater this year, and tickets are on sale now via AXS. As you can see, the tweet from Keighley reads, "Save the date. In exactly 3 months on December 12th, 2019, the Game Awards is live from Los Angeles at the Microsoft Theater. Can't wait to tell you more about our 5th anniversary celebration," which it is coming up on 5 years since the Game Awards started. So this is going to be a big show this year. This year's show will celebrate the act of creation as I turn the stage over to a group of visionary teams selected to share their new projects with you, Keighley wrote on Twitter. "I'm honored to be given this platform to celebrate our shared passion on a global scale. You'll hear much more in the coming weeks about our plans for the 5th anniversary show. It will be very special." God of War took home Game of the Year at the awards in 2018, with Fortnite winning Best Ongoing Game, and Red Dead Redemption 2 taking home Best Narrative. Return to the Obra Dinn, Celeste, Dead Cells, and Monster Hunter World were also winners on that night. So yeah, nothing really noteworthy here. Like, the Game Awards happens every year around this time. It's tradition at this point. However, the one thing that I noticed that is a bit weird in the context of all this is that usually the Game Awards happen the first week of December. However, this year they're starting a week late. So I wonder, maybe it's because the show is going to be bigger this year than it has been previously. So maybe they need a little bit more time to plan things out.
What if that's the only week that Kojima can show up?
Probably, honestly.
That's the only week that Kojima exists on this side. Before he goes back to the other side.
Well, he's gonna want like a break after Death Stranding comes out. After Death Stranding comes out, he's probably gonna like isolate himself from like everybody for like a month.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
Hang out with your buddy Jeff Keighley.
Here's the thing. Death Stranding comes out on November 8th. A month following that falls in line when the Game Awards usually is, Matt. So that theory does not hold water.
No, that finds out a month. So
a month and a week is not a month, Matt. Listen. All right, fair. I don't know why we're arguing about this. We're just dumb. Anyway,
what are we acting on? I completely zoned out.
Yeah,
I'm busy looking at Call of Duty shit.
Of course, but yeah,
the new game is gonna be weird.
But yeah, the Game Awards is airing on Thursday, December 12th. The Game Awards has been bringing their A game the last couple years, so seeing as how this is a 5th anniversary show, pretty sure this is probably going to be the best Game Awards out of all of them.
It's going to be the circle jerk of the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Look how wonderful we've been for the past 5 years.
Jeff Keighley, Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, who else? Phil Spencer, Reggie's going to come out of retirement. They're all going to get up on stage, circle jerk each other, going,
Iwata's going to come back.
It's going to be like Game Master Anthony's birthday when every video game character in the world comes in for a huge hug.
And then they materialize Microsoft's Clippy into existence, and he comes out on stage.
Nah, we're out of here. It's done.
All right, let's move on. Now we're just getting to some miscellaneous stuff to wrap things up. Starting with our obligatory Game Pass news, because of course, you know me, ya boys got you covered. They just announced the next string of games that are coming out in the second half of September. And following with the first batch, September looks like a good month for Game Pass, excuse me. I mean, the whole year has been great for Game Pass, but I mean, September specifically is the best year. Anyway, let's just read this fucking article. Microsoft has announced that 5 more games will be added to Xbox Game Pass on console this month. The first batch of new titles arrived yesterday, September 19th, and includes Bandai Namco's fighting game Jump Force. And side-scrolling Metroidvania Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Following these will be Roguelite Bad North, Codemasters Racer Dirt Rally 2.0, and LEGO Worlds on September 26th. As for Game Pass on PC, Microsoft teased that subscribers should keep an eye out on the latest episode of Inside Xbox on September 24th. Everything's just happening on the 24th. Yeah, like, fuck. Xbox Game Pass is now available on Xbox One for $9.99 a month and on PC for $4.99 a month. And I still think they're doing the deal where you get your first month for $1. So get in on that.
If they were to say, oh yeah, wait till the 24th, it's probably Master Chief Collection coming to.
It could be. You never know.
Fine, it probably is, because they're not gonna. They're gonna try to, because it's supposed to be out by the end of the year, and if they're going Game Pass, but it's like, hey, it's now out on Game Pass, and if you got the Game Pass,
you can play it
out on PC now, and you got Game Pass, you can play it all four Halo games,
all 6, including ODST and Reach. So.
Oh yeah, ODST and Reach. Yeah, no 5, but
I mean that wasn't remastered anyway, so who cares?
That wasn't remastered anyways. I have a feeling that'll come to PC at some point, but
probably. But yeah, I talked about this last time. I think it was actually last week we got our first batch of games for September for Game Pass. Game Pass had kind of a slow month in August compared to previous months, but man, they're bringing their A game once again with September, because the 2 big games that they just added are games that came out this year. One of those is really good, and the other is Jump Force. But yeah, Bloodstained.
Yeah, Dirt Rally 2.0. So
yeah, Dirt Rally 2.0, LEGO Worlds. Holy shit! But no, the big one.
Don't disrespect the Dirt franchise. Those are some good ass rally games.
But no, the big one is Bloodstained. Bloodstained came out like 3 months ago, and it's already on Game Pass, where millions of people can play it, including me. I wasn't even planning on playing Bloodstained this year, but now that it's on Game Pass, so fuck it, I might as well. Fuck. Do either of you guys have anything to say about this news? Other than the tangent that Matt went on about Master Chief.
Yeah, I might check out Dirt Rally. I really like the Dirt franchise, so I'm always a bitch for racing games. The real dream is a new Burnout game, but that's not going to happen.
So not going to happen because EA's got that stranglehold on Need for Speed.
Speed fix will come from the Dirt, so that's fine.
But yeah, really good batch of games this month, and we're going to get even more for the PC side on the 24th, so I can't wait to see what they're going to be adding over there. Moving on. We got some news on Control, which if you've been playing this game on consoles, may or may not be a miserable experience, but it's been documented in several instances that the console versions of this game do not run well at all, especially if you're playing on base consoles. But Remedy has released a new update that is sworn to improve performance, but as we'll get to later on, yeah, it really didn't. But let's read. A new update has been released for Control on PlayStation 4 that targets performance, loading times, and bugs. Xbox One and PC owners will be getting the update very soon. According to the patch notes, today's update improves general stability on all platforms, includes general frame rate performance improvements, and speeds up map loading times. As well as this, toggles have been added for motion blur and film grain in the options menu, and several progression issues have been addressed. So this article has a full breakdown of all the patch notes, but there's too many to go over here. The one that was really the focus of this patch is performance, because just go watch the Digital Foundry video. That's basically all you need to see. This game does not run well on consoles whatsoever. If you're playing on PS4 Pro or Xbox One X, it's definitely a lot more stable. But if you're just playing this on a regular PS4 or Xbox One, it's borderline unplayable at certain points. Like, do you like playing games at 10 frames per second consistently? That's Control on console. Yeah, not very good performance whatsoever. But they did swear by this update that it would improve performance, but again, going back to Digital Foundry, they did a follow-up video on the actual patch, and while it did improve it substantially, it's still a mess. So, basically, the solution here is don't play this on console, and if you absolutely can only play this on console, try try as hard as you can to play it on one of the upgraded consoles, either PS4 Pro or Xbox One X, because, ooh boy, it is rough.
It runs like dog doo-doo.
It is rough. Or just play on PC. That's basically the solution here. Just play it on PC where it actually runs, well. But yeah, do either of you guys have any thoughts on this?
I actually have never heard of Control until you brought it up today. So this is the first time.
It was getting rave reviews earlier this month, so I was thinking about checking it out, but I had Borderlands to play, so I figured, I'll wait. And then I heard about all the Forza shit. I'm like, I'll wait longer, so...
Yeah, now you're going to even have to wait even longer, because even the patch didn't really fix it.
I guess when they eventually fix it by next year, I'll probably have enough time to play it.
Yeah, which isn't good PR, but whatever.
Interject. It's been confirmed that Last of Us Part 2 is going to be at the State of Play.
Well, there you go. What did I fucking say?
Naughty Dog like an hour ago. So
what did I fucking tell you? They're going to show the trailer at State of Play, and then the actual presentation for Last of Us will be afterwards. I'm a fucking genius. Anyway, let's move on. Control runs like doo-doo, but hopefully they'll fix that. Let's move on to one of our more...
Is allegedly not doo-doo. So.
Yeah. Let's move on to one of our more fucking weird stories.
Despise it. I hate it.
KFC. Y'all know KFC. KFC is trying to branch out into the gaming industry, starting with an anime Colonel Sanders dating sim of all things. But let's read. Colonel Sanders is a hot anime boy. Let's read. KFC, yes, the fast food restaurant, is working on a video game. With developer Cypop, the fried chicken connoisseurs are releasing a dating simulator, I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating sim. The game popped up on Steam this morning as coming soon according to the listing. A KFC representative told Polygon the game will be available for free on Steam on September 24th. September 24th is like the biggest day of the year for gaming, apparently. Because not only are we getting State of Play, we're getting State of Play, we're getting Inside Xbox, we're getting the fucking anime KFC game. Come on.
Obviously, the anime KFC game is the most anticipated game of the year.
Listen,
no, not of the year, of the decade, Matt. Like,
the developer is named PsyOp. This is insane. What's the point of this? No one was asking for a KFC.
This is what we call prime capitalism.
Well,
That's what this is.
No one was asking for it. It's just like, look at us.
Let's finish the article first, Adam, and then you can go off. From the same people that brought you the bucket of chicken comes the world's first Colonel Sanders dating sim, the description reads. I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating sim, which, yes, you have to say the full title every time, will put players in control of a promising culinary student who's studying alongside a young Colonel Sanders, while looking for love, but you've got to make it through culinary school, too. If you're lucky, Colonel Sanders might even take you on as a business partner. Of the 9 characters, there's also a dog who is also a professor at the culinary school, naturally. So the dog teaches you how to make fried chicken. Let's move on. KFC says there are multiple hours of gameplay, a secret ending, and recipes. There are also cooking battles, 11 herbs and spices, and plenty of cute miniature food. The listing also reminds potential players a few times that yes, KFC did really make this game. While I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating sim is a bizarre yet intriguing move from the fast food company, it is not too out of line. In 2018, KFC launched a gaming Twitter account called KFC Gaming. The social media account is all over the place, hurling memes and video clips all across the internet. Most recently, the account declared Rainbow Six Siege as the greatest game ever made, the winner of its World Cup of Games.
What the fuck? What? Wait a minute.
This is just a brand being like, look at us, we're wacky. We're making a dating sim. We're turning a visual novel dating sim.
We're turning Colonel Sanders into a cute anime boy. You can date him. And there's a dog who teaches you how to make fried chicken.
I don't know why I'm getting so worked up over this. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. We shouldn't have even covered this, honestly.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
Funny.
Here's the thing, Adam. This is prime meme culture right here.
Well, we got what this is.
No.
Now all we need is all the other fast food places to make their own
hot anime Ronald McDonald. Here we fucking come, McDonald's.
Need McDonald's chance.
And then they'll come together in one big crossover dating sim. It will be amazing.
It'll be like It'll be like the dream daddy of fast food restaurants.
It will be the Avengers of fast food, except not at all.
Except no, and also you get to fuck them.
The real question is that okay? It's a dating sim, but the real question is it an 18+ dating sim or no?
If it's not, that is a huge missed opportunity.
It's a huge missed opportunity.
Like, how can you not have innuendos about Colonel Sanders' drumstick? Moving on.
Done with this particular item. Let's move on.
I heard Matt drop his phone in disgust.
I wanted to throw my laptop at them.
Anyway, let's move on from the KFC.
I'm going to die.
We could do a whole podcast about that.
We could not. I would kill you on microphone.
Joke's on you, Adam. I want to die.
The person who killed Epstein will now go after Shane.
Anyway, let's move on. Some more Bandai Namco news, but some weird Bandai Namco news, as they have filed trademarks for encore editions of some of their older franchises. So let's read. Bandai Namco has trademarked encore editions of some of its older franchises, including a Mr. Driller encore, Klonoa encore, Splatterhouse encore, Genpei Tomaden encore, and Wagyan Land encore, according to Gematsu. Bandai Namco have previously released encore editions of both Katamari Damacy and Damacy Reroll, both of which were full remasters of the original games. And then this article from EGM just goes through each game series individually and talks about them briefly, so let's just skip right to the end of the article. There's no further information on when these games will release or if they're anything more than Bandai Namco trademarking titles for future-proofing. This is a weird story, because it's not too out of line with what Bandai Namco has been doing recently, because they did the same thing with Katamari Damacy when that was remastered. I don't care about any of these games, to be perfectly honest with you.
Have you not played Splatterhouse?
I have played Splatterhouse, but Splatterhouse has not been in my collective consciousness for 12 years. So I could literally care less at this point. And I haven't even heard of either of these other three games. I haven't heard of Mr. Driller, I haven't heard of Genpei Tomaden, and I definitely haven't heard of Wagyan Land. The only one of these I have heard of, care about, and actually really want to see a remake of is Klonoa. Because anyone who's played fucking Klonoa knows that game is godlike.
Yeah, Klonoa's great.
Klonoa is amazing. They made Klonoa 2 on the PS2, which didn't take off because, of course, Westerners are stupid. But yeah, they remade the original game for the Wii. I just want to see them make... I don't care what it is, whether it's another remake or a remaster of the original PS1 game. I don't care. I just want to play more Klonoa. And if this listing is anything to go off of, we're going to get more Klonoa at some point. But of course, Klonoa isn't the only thing that this article covers. What do you guys think of this? Do you have any thoughts?
Splatterhouse. I love Splatterhouse, and I hope it gets I hope we get another Splat. I'm hoping we do get another Splatterhouse game, because fuck yes, Splatterhouse is awesome, and more people need to play it.
Adam, any thoughts on any of this? Or are we back to crickets?
AOL.
You gotta edit in the sound when you prompt these questions for me.
Unfortunately, I don't have one primed ready. I mean, I could. Here,
for next time.
Here we go. We're going on YouTube in the middle of the podcast. Here we go.
Cricket
sound effect. Cricket sound. Here we go. There you go. There's your cricket sound.
I didn't hear anything.
It's fine because it played through my headphones. You wouldn't have heard it anyway, but it's in there. Don't worry.
Well, the sound my brain's making is the AOL dial-up noise, so...
Oh, let's look that up too. Why not? Here we go.
It hurt a lot.
AOL dial-up sound effect. Here we go. Live on stream. Oh, it's got the fucking phone dial and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, that's saucy.
Remember dial-up?
Oh, that's right in my earlobe. Ugh. Oof. Oh man, that white noise static. Ooh, it's my favorite. Anyway, let's get back to the story. So,
what's the last piece of news we got? Oh yeah, we got.
Okay, we have nothing else to talk about the Bandai Namco trademarks.
Nothing, not for me. I don't know if Matt is going to talk about.
I just want a new fucking Klonoa. That's all I want. Matt just wants a new Splatterhouse.
Yeah, I want a new Splatterhouse. Give me Splatterhouse.
All right, well, let's move on to our last piece of news for today, which is one of the weirdest. Not as weird as, Anime Colonel Sanders or Klonoa coming back, potentially, but it's still pretty weird, and it involves Nintendo, which means we gotta put it at the end, because, of course, the big end will come after us if we don't. But Nintendo filed a really weird patent this last week.
Shit.
This last week, they filed a patent for a new model of Joy-Con with a hinge on it. Let's read. A strange patent application Nintendo filed in Japan has fans guessing at its purpose, even before the necessary speculation of whether it'll actually become a peripheral people can buy for the Switch. But there it is, a pair of Joy-Cons with a hinge. The hinge flips the upper portion of each Joy-Con, left thumbstick on the left, face buttons on the right, downward or away from the user at about a 20 to 30 degree angle, shown against the natural posture of a hand with its thumb in the stick. This seems to be an ergonomic improvement. There appears to be a second design with the bottom of the controller slightly angled as well for extra ergonomic grippiness. The Joy-Con retains a straight inner railing so that it will still attach to the standard Switch unit, and since the dock's housing doesn't extend past the screen's width, there's of no concern for a Switch fitted with a couple of these. Images further down the patent application show that this is a moving hinge, with the Joy-Con locking flat for use in its traditional detached two-player way. Connected, I suppose this would be for power users who do most of their playing handheld and want a better grip on their unit. Commenters in this Reddit thread bring up the fact that Joy-Cons are already so small that the revision doesn't leave much space to do new things. The upcoming Nintendo Switch Lite, whose controllers cannot be separated, had to toss out HD rumble and the infrared motion camera because of the smaller footprint. A hinge might sacrifice some other functionality as well. So if it ever comes to market, this could be more of a novelty rather than a new standard for the Switch's official controllers. So yeah, what the fuck? I don't know how to attack this.
I've been mulling over for a while on what the fuck this is supposed to be, and the only thing I can come up with, and it's the only thing that makes sense to me, is that okay, so the top part of it is like a hinge, and it bends. It bends.
Yeah.
What if it's like you hold it in such a way where where it's almost like your hand is in an abyss, and it's like for like a new Punch-Out game or something like that?
That would make sense, but if that's
the only thing I can. That is literally
if that's
the
its only purpose, then why even bother?
It's
just
Nintendo.
Make a different peripheral.
It's Nintendo. They'll make a new controller for literally one game. They've done it before. Remember the Wii Motion Plus? That was like what, 3 games? They will do that. So
I'm not sure. Exactly one game no one's gonna play.
I want to bring up something
Punch-Out, dude.
I want to bring up something here. On the actual image from the patent, if you look in the bottom right corner, there's an image of a set of human hands holding a full Switch console with these hinged Joy-Cons on them. It shows what seems to be a action RPG-esque Zelda-type game. I don't know if that's just to fill space. I'm looking way too hard into this.
I think you are looking, yeah.
I'm looking way too hard into this, but that's what my eye gravitates towards. I'm like, wait, does this have any significance, or did they just want to draw something pretty on the screen for investors?
They wanted to draw something on it. This my eye goes to the fact that it bends now, which is usually not what a controller does.
Why the fuck do these things fold? Why do they need to fold? What is the functionality of this? I need to know more, but all we have is a patent right now. So Matt already talked about how he thinks this is for a new Punch-Out game. What do you think this could potentially be for, Adam, if it is in fact a real thing?
I don't know. Maybe like a racing game. I have no idea how it would work, but...
And like, the thing about this is, and the article brings it up, which is actually a good point, they don't seem to completely fold in on themselves. It just seems to be at a very specific angle.
So you can fold them like up, so it's not like they're easier for transport because the Joy-Cons are totally easy to transport themselves. It's like, oh, it bends 30 degrees backwards.
Yeah, it bends at a 30-degree angle. Why?
What it's supposed to do, that's the thing.
I don't really have anything to say about this because like there's so much we don't know. We don't even know if this is actually a real thing or not.
We ended on the most baffling thing possible, honestly. Here.
Or Nintendo just made the patent so no one else makes it. So that way it's...
You know what? Fuck Microsoft. Fuck Sony. Fuck whoever makes PCs. We gotta get on that foldable controller market. There's an entire market just waiting to be exploited here. I don't know who talks like that at Nintendo.
I think you can only patent like 1 degree. So if they patent it for like a 30-degree bend, I think theoretically that Microsoft can patent like a 35-degree bend or something like that.
We've been making video games since 1983.
We've been making video games since I don't know when Nintendo was founded.
1983. We invented Super Mario Brothers. We need to get that patent on foldable controllers.
Is that what Shigeru Miyamoto actually sounds like?
Yes. If you've ever heard Miyamoto talk, that's exaca how he talks. Just a really old, disgruntled Brooklyn man.
I'm just browsing through the games Reddit subreddit, and there's some extra news about Game Pass and some other stuff. If you really want me to say, but it's like it's one more thing. Xbox Game Pass for PC. It dropped Bloodstain, obviously, and Shadow Warrior 2 now. Yeah, I just saw that. So
yeah, cool. Thank you.
So that's really it. There's nothing else there.
Yeah, no, this is the last thing we're covering, and like Adam said, we end on the most baffling news story, as is tradition with this show. Because I don't fucking know what this is. None of you guys know what this is.
Total War game. So, or Total War Saga Troy, which is just going to be Total War, but for the Trojan War. Which I guess if you're a Greek mythology dork, you'll have a good time.
And with that said, I think we can start wrapping things up here.
Yeah. I think we can wrap it up. Yeah. There's been not enough Jeffrey Epstein talk, but I think that's for a different podcast.
Yeah, that's fine. But with that said, that wraps up our news section, and thus we can get to wrapping up the show. But before we sign off, I have one thing that I do want to mention. This is the last episode of Banter that we will be doing for quite some time, actually, because if you know anything about us, our other podcast, The Gap, where we talk about anime, is just about to start our second annual month of Spook, where we spend every week in October covering a different horror-themed show, and I put big air quotes on that because it's a little different this year, but I digress. So yeah, we're going to be doing that throughout the entire month of October, which means there won't be any Bearded Banter. And actually, I did the calculations. I looked at the calendar. The next episode of Banter we will be doing actually won't be until the first week of November. So we're going to be taking quite a bit of time off, about a month and a half. But of course, month of Spook, once it comes around, takes priority. So hang tight. Banter will be back in about 6 weeks or so just hold tight. We won't be gone forever, but we're going to be talking about some
we'll see if
horror anime.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, we can officially wrap things up here. So thank you for watching this another exciting episode of the Bearded Banter Podcast. If you like what you've seen, you can go ahead and subscribe to us. Hit the bell to get notifications on when we upload so you can get cool new podcasts, gaming videos, unboxings, live streams, etc. I have been your host, Shane the Beer One. You can follow me on Twitter at BeardedGamingN, where I give all my shitty opinions on games, anime, movies, food, I guess. I have very controversial opinions.
He has posted really garbage food opinions. And
you know what? Fight me.
Oh yeah, all your food opinions are bad.
You know what? Fight me.
About pork burgers being better than beef burgers.
Pork burgers are delicious, and I will not take any of your shit.
You had a burger in your
I have. And don't fucking
not from McDonald's.
Don't fucking insult my family because they're the ones who cook and they're really good at it. So yes, I have had actual cooking, you fucking prick.
I'm pressing X to doubt. I'm doubting really hard right now.
You can go follow me on Twitter at BeerGameman for all that stuff.
I have never had pork burgers before. Like,
they're very good.
I would assume so because I like burgers.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of this guy, joining us also is my co-host, Matt Legion Rex. You can go subscribe to him on YouTube at Legion Rex, where he tries to post videos, but the copyright police stop him every time.
They have ruined my will to post videos.
But
to be honest.
But if you want more Legion Rex content, you can also follow him on Twitter at Legion Rex, where he is currently a Deet Stan account, talking about nothing but the Dark Crystal and its subsequent sequel show, Age of Resistance, on Netflix.
It's a prequel show.
Oh, it is a prequel. Okay.
Yeah, it is a prequel show. So,
but he talks about nothing but Dark Crystal. So if you want some of that shit, go follow him at Legion Rex. Yeah, also joining us is our good sports boy Adam. You can follow him on Twitter at, I don't even know how to pronounce your Twitter handle. Honestly, Adam.
A with 3 Y's, Lamau Zedong.
Okay.
So, Lamau Zedong.
You can follow him on Twitter at A with 3 Y's, Lamau Zedong, for mostly political talk. So if you like political talk,
there's some sports going on, there's some games, there's some music, movies, all that stuff. I'm really a guy of everything.
If you like any of that, go follow him on Twitter for more of that.
I like following incredibly stupid people on Twitter. I'm your guy.
Yes. But with that said, we can wrap things up. So thank you for watching this episode of Bearded Banter. We'll be back in November, I guess. So we won't see you for a while, but we'll still be around. Go follow us at the Gap Podcast if you want to follow us for a month of Spook. But until then, we'll see you in November for more gaming stuff. So keep on gaming, everyone. We'll see you next time.